Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. My name is Sue Ellis-Saller, and I am from Spiritual Business Spotlight. And I am talking today with Christian from Standing Stone Healing. Hello and welcome, Christian.
Greetings, Sue. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this. I'm excited to be chatting with you today and greatly appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Oh, it's my pleasure, definitely. So we were chatting a little bit before our interview started, and I want to know, like, you have an interesting background in spiritual journey. So if you could share a little bit of that with us.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes. I really believe, of course, when you say a journey, it absolutely is. And we all walk this journey in different ways throughout our lives. And so for me, it has definitely been a journey with several touch points in my life. One of the big touch points in my life was, I've always considered myself to be a spiritual person. I was actually raised Catholic. I no longer identify as Catholic, but I was raised to be rather strictly Catholic. And through that, I really acquired a deep appreciation for spirituality, for the mystical. I absolutely loved the chanting and the incense of the church. Those are things I still love and appreciate. And so as I grew, you hit adolescence, you go off to college, you move away from home, and you start to find your own identity. And for me, this was through some friends that I had and who introduced me to things like tarot and nature-based spirituality. And those things really resonated with me. It was, and that was the case for me. And I want to say that the real touch point, a real turning point for me, is a point in my life where I was in a relationship that was not healthy. Actually, it was abusive, and I didn't realize it at the time until later. And I was in a job that was also very unhealthy. And they were impacting my mental and physical and emotional health within the span of a month. I was fired from that job, and I ultimately broke it off for the last time in that abusive relationship. And my world just came crashing down. I had some struggles with one of my good friends, and that for me, Sue, was a point in my life where I said, I am just not on the right track. My path is veering off in a direction that is just does not feel right and feel good. And so I took some time. I repaired my relationship with my friend. I went to him and said, I really just want healthy relationships at this point in my life. I returned to my center. Went back to all of the nature, the spiritual pursuits that really resonate with me. And so that was a point of crisis in my life. I went to counseling for help with my experience, and it took me really a full year to bounce back from those major life changes. But it was ultimately, of course, very rewarding because it set me back on the right, quote unquote, right for me path that really resonated with me. And so from there, it's just really been very much an unfolding of who I am and becoming more and more myself as I grow and as I learn and travel my journey. So it's definitely been an exciting one. I did become a Reiki master, certified Reiki master 6 years ago. And that is just another point on my journey that was very fulfilling, has been a wonderful experience for me. And now I'm at the point where I am offering my services, my experience with my own life changes and my experience with assisting others with their life changes, with my 1,000 hours actually of one-on-one work of people helping them through their life changes and transitions. And so I'm excited to be expanding and offering my Reiki card reading and coaching services to anyone.
Oh, that's nice. So you bring in kind of like a really big toolbox with cards and drumming and Reiki and life experience, coaching, everything kind of, and, being able to communicate that with people, and they get a session from you. I saw that it's a recorded session, so they would reach out to you when they're kind of in that crisis. I hate to say, don't wait until you're in crisis, people. When you kind of start feeling a little off or whatever, then reach out to a healer and get a session, see what they have to say, because a lot of times you said it so eloquently and so perfectly that sometimes life just throws us into these situations, and the more we go along, the more wrong things feel, and the worse the outcomes that we're having are. So then all of a sudden everything kind of falls apart and you're left with just you, and that's a beautiful place to be sometimes, because then you have all of the opportunity. It's just like that place of acceptance and surrender.
Yes, such a good point, Sue. And that's really what it was for me at that crisis point in my life. It really was a crisis. And I'll tell you honestly that when I hit that wall, I really did hit a wall. And I just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed and just could not stop crying. Was when I went to my best friend and said, we have a problem. I've just been fired. I've just ended this very difficult, emotionally challenging relationship. Our relationship is struggling. I'm here to repair that. And it was just like everything came crashing down. Um, so it was a real crisis point, and we all have these points in our lives. I firmly believe that it's not so much what happens to us that matters, but rather what we do with what happens to us. And so we all have those challenging times in our lives. We all have life changes. We all have crisis points. And the real question is, how are you responding to that? And how are you, in a sense, building your life back from that experience?
Right, right, definitely. And both you and I talked about the necessity, the need for us to kind of give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room as we're working through our journey, because you can't be perfect on your way, and you're talking about healing some really big issues that require you to go inward and change habits, change ways of thinking, change ways of being. And so sometimes, though, there's going to be something triggers you to go back into that thought pattern or process. How do you feel like a person should pull themselves out of that? Like, well, aside from getting a session, or get a session and what?
Thanks, Sue, for that question. That is a great question. Yes, when it comes to those points in our lives, I do have recommendations for people on how to approach them. First of all, I really encourage you at those touch points in your lives, at those life changes. And by the way, I do want to say that life change, we have a tendency to think of life change as huge changes, like the example that I gave with my major life change. But life changes can be something very small and simple, something as simple as changing a job, or changing your routine, moving to somewhere else. I mean, life changes happen on actually even a daily basis with our life transitions. So I have a couple of recommendations for those points in your life. First of all, I strongly encourage you at those life points to be gentle with yourself. Know that you are going to feel a range of emotions at those times. Anything from anxiety to anger to sadness to excitement, overwhelm, confusion. You are going to feel those things. And I am here to tell you that those are normal things to be feeling during a life change. I once worked with a woman who had broken up. She came to me for a distant Reiki healing ceremony after a breakup. And during the coaching portion, and this was not videotaped, this was a live one, she said to me, about her breakup, and she just felt that she was challenged to move on. And I said, well, how long has it been? And she said, 3 weeks. I said, no, it's absolutely okay for you to be feeling this way 3 weeks after the end of a relationship. And I told her, expect to be feeling some of these feelings for a few months, and that is okay. So, we have a tendency to beat ourselves up for the ways in which we're feeling. Oh, I should be over this by now. I shouldn't be feeling this way about this anymore. It's been months. Why am I still at times missing this person? That's normal, and that is part of the healing process. Know that it is a process, that it does take time, and that with any process, we are going to have it's like a circle. It doesn't work in a straight linear line. And so progress is going to sometimes feel like 1 step forward and 2 steps back, or 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And that is part of the process. So please be gentle with yourself. Please also seek out assistance if you are feeling any undue amounts of anxiety or worry. Please seek out professional mental health assistance with that. I know when I had my life crisis, I recognized that I needed help not going back to that relationship. And
Right.
so I needed help not going back to her and not calling her up again and saying, hey, let's get back together. Or when she called me, to not say, yeah, it really wasn't that bad. So I needed help. So I sought out a counselor to help me with not going back. So I encourage that for sure. But know that those feelings are going to be normal. Another recommendation I have is to take control over some small things that you can control. Sue, when you talk about this idea of habits, when your life changes, I guarantee you your habits are going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that small or large life change might be, your habits are going to change. If we can approach these life changes with that knowledge, then we have more power and ability to exert some control and influence over the ways in which our life is going to change. So however small it might be, take some control over those life changes. Acknowledge the kind of person who you want to be moving forward, and implement even small scale changes. When we think of habit formation, we tend to think of go big or go home. But the truth is that the smallest changes will and do lead up to larger, greater changes and benefits. So definitely taking some control. I could go on and on in that, but about that. But my final recommendation, and I have many more, but my third one for your life change is ritual. I am a firm believer in the importance of ritual. I believe that ritual we are lacking in our culture. We have too few rituals to signify our life changes and transitions. And ritual is a timeless method of helping us to transition into different life stages. And ritual, it has been proven through study that ritual does change the brain. And so when we are going through a life change, it is very helpful for us to engage in rituals to signal to the brain that it is time to move on. It is okay to move on. It is okay to let go. So engaging in some form of ritual, yes, I do offer some rituals, but you also can take some power and create your own rituals for your life changes.
Right. And I think that's a wonderful thing to encourage people to do, because it does clear the energy. It does, it sets this total intention, and you create this space. You say, this has come to an end. and now I am creating space for something new. So I really love that. I really love the ritual. And you can help people by leading them through creating a ritual, or by giving them rituals that you know of that they can use for themselves. So they can get a hold of you. You're at standingstonehealing.com, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, any last tidbit or anything you want to share with anybody today?
Yes, thank you, Sue. I have created a pre-recorded sample of my distant Reiki healing ceremony for your listeners that they can listen to. If you go to standingstoneshealing.com/spiritual business spotlight, I will have a recording of a sample distant Reiki healing ceremony that you can listen to. It includes, as part of the ceremony, I am a Native American flute player, so that is part of it. I send Reiki to you. I do pull some cards and offer some interpretation and messages from those cards. And when I conduct an individualized ceremony, I am able to offer you coaching and encouragement for your own situation. I do want to say that I am first and foremost an encourager. Above all else, this is who I am. This is my life mission, and this is what I'm all about. And so all of my services, all of my interactions are very purposeful in helping to encourage you in your journey. I believe that we all need encouragement, and that along with ritual, encouragement for one another is sorely lacking. And so it's my mission to really bring encouragement into all of my interactions and into everything that I do. So I am definitely here to encourage you through your journey.
Thank you, Christian. That is, I mean, I think you totally hit the nail on the head there, that a lot of times we don't have support or encouragement, especially from like an objective standpoint. You know, everything is kind of like a little bit subjective. But when you talk to somebody like yourself, who's got the coaching background, who's got the Reiki background, who's got, you know, just the mission to encourage people to do their best and be their best. That's what we need more of in this day and age. So Christian, I think that's wonderful. So I wish I could pat you on the back in real life, but thank you for sharing that with us. I think, like you said, it's just lacking right now. And I think people really need that support and guidance, and yeah, and encouragement.
I agree, Sue. And I really want to encourage everyone listening that after you end, after we end here, I really want you to reach out to 3 people. I'm going to encourage you right now to reach out to 3 people and encourage them in some way, shape, or form. So if maybe a coworker gave a presentation at work that was really great, reach out, send that person a text. Hey girl, great presentation today. Reach out, tell someone you love them, hey, I just want to thank you for always listening to me. Reach out and encourage someone. I challenge you, encourage you right now to do that with 3 people.
Awesome. So I'm going to take that challenge myself. And again, Christian has created a recording of a session for us at www.standingstones with an S at the end, healing.com/spiritual business spotlight. So
Correct.
thank you again for your time and energy, Christian, and all the great advice that you've given us today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Sue. I am so happy to have been able to chat with you, and really love and appreciate what you are doing and the light that you are sending out into the world. So thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. We need more of us out there. So definitely. Okay. Well, take care, everybody. Again, Christian from standingstonehealing.com. Have a fabulous day, and we will talk soon. Bye-bye.